Well, we move from Myanmar to Qatar now because there are concerns about a spike in dogs being abandoned and abused during the pandemic. Let's learn about this. We know some dogs are suffering horrific injuries and evidence is being constantly posted on social media. This is one dog which was rescued by animal welfare groups after being burned and stabbed. Then this dog was shot multiple times. We're told others have been badly beaten and some have been deliberately run over. We've chosen not to show you these pictures because they're too graphic. Qatar's problem with stray dogs isn't new. It's thought to be home to around 50,000 of them. However, the COVID health crisis appears to have made it worse. According to local media, this is Doha News, animals have been abandoned by families. It reports this was mainly due to circulating misinformation on pets contracting the coronavirus and infecting members of the family. And here's AFP adding, rescuers now say the completion of building projects ahead of the 2022 World Cup has forced more stray dogs into residential areas where many fall victim to abuse. Well, let's speak to Anne Levasseur, an AFP reporter in Qatar who's live with us. Anne, can you first of all help us understand the scale of this issue?
I mean, you've said it, right? The rescue community estimate that the population is 50,000 animals, stray animals, mostly dogs, in the streets of Qatar. The population of strays in Qatar has been on the rise for many years. And as you mentioned, because of construction, those dogs that were probably living in an area where they were not bothering anyone have been pushed into more residential area and to farmlands where they are they may risk abuse and torture, but where also people, they're not welcome, so people complain about them, and then the police intervene, and then hopefully rescuer intervene and will try to save as many as possible and to rehome some of those dogs that they will trap on the streets of Qatar. But yeah, the transient population, and you mentioned abandonment. People come and go in Qatar, and a lot of those pets are left behind, and of course if those pets are not sterilized, then they multiply, and then that also contribute to the increase of the stray population.
Do the authorities acknowledge there's a problem?
The government acknowledged that there's been a rise in the population, and in the last few weeks they've launched a campaign called Operation Pity, which consists of rounding up dogs in the area where they are problematic. Those dogs that are captured are being kept right now in 2 temporary shelters, and the government is building a new shelter that will be a permanent shelter for those dogs captured on the streets. Now the government says that all dogs captured in this operation are cared for, they're getting vaccinated, they will be sterilized, and then eventually they will be put up for adoption. But when that campaign came into the public eye with photos that were posted in local media, the rescue community got very worried because they want to know what happens to those dogs. And because of the number of dogs on the streets, they wonder how can the government manage that many dogs and what will happen to those dogs in those government-run facilities when they become overcrowded. Now, the government again says in a statement to AFP that no dogs have been nor will be euthanized. But the rescue community, they would like to see it for themselves. There's a lot of volunteers that work here with animal shelters, and they would like to be involved in this government operation because over the years, they've gathered the expertise, they know how to deal with the issue, and they've been very active.
Anne, we appreciate you bringing us up to date on that. Thank you very much indeed. That's Anne Levasseur, AFP reporter in Qatar, ending this edition of Outside Source.